What's up, everybody? Welcome to Awesome Tech You Can't Buy It, a show where I bring you the 5 best crowdfunding projects that have hit the internet this week. First up this week, we have the MyMe from a company called Orcam, and they are marketing this thing as a second brain that you can wear on your shirt. It's essentially a wearable AI device, but instead of functioning like an Amazon Alexa speaker that you have to talk to, this thing actually has a built-in camera, and then it uses visual processing algorithms to help you understand the world in front of you. So one particular use case that they show off in their video is, let's say you are at a conference and somebody hands you a business card. When you hold up that business card, the camera reads their name, recognizes their face in front of you, and then stores that in your phone so that when you're done talking to them, you can just look back and add them directly to your contacts. That's just one of the weird functions, though. There are a ton more, so if you're interested in this, I highly recommend checking out the video on Kickstarter. It's currently going for about $199 on Kickstarter, and because they've already met their funding goal, they expect to ship this in March of this year. Next up, we have the Gaze Tray, which is a wireless charging pad designed to charge all of your Apple devices simultaneously. So in terms of form, this thing is basically just a little tray like you would put your keys and your wallet and your phone in anyway, but instead of just being a tray, it's got wireless charging technology built into it that can charge your phone, your Apple Watch, and your EarPods all at once. So if you are an Apple fan and you have all of these devices and you want a better way to charge them, you can get one of these on Kickstarter right now for about $59, and they expect to ship it in March of this year. Next up, we have the MiniBull S, which is a faucet aerator. So here's how this thing works. You start by screwing it on to your faucet, and then when you turn on your tap, it infuses your water with these tiny little nanoscale bubbles that are about 1/500th the size of pores. These little bubbles, when they burst, are apparently really bad for bacteria because it hurts their cell walls, and it also breaks up chemical compounds like fertilizers and other stuff that might be on your produce. So in other words, this thing allegedly gives your faucet magical disinfecting powers. It sounds kind of too good to be true, but believe it or not, this is actually based on legit science. I looked into it because it sounded like total BS, but the whole MicroBubble thing actually does have some merit to it, and they did some independent studies that showed that these faucets that they'd outfitted with this little aerator were actually 2 to 3 times more effective at removing fertilizers and chemicals and bacteria from things that were washed. If you want to get one of these things on your faucet, you're going to have to dish out about $72 on Kickstarter, but they have made their funding goal and they expect to ship in April. Next up, we have BlueV, which is a really innovative new design for umbrellas. So with older umbrellas that were made of metal, the hinge systems usually come with lots of individual pieces that if they break, you pretty much just have to throw out your umbrella because there's no way to repair them. BlueV is a completely different take on the idea of an umbrella hinge. It's made from one single piece of flexible polymer, so if a big gust of wind comes and blows your umbrella inside out, nothing will actually break. It'll all just flex and return to normal when the gust dies down. The cool thing about it is that because it's made with fewer pieces and from a relatively inexpensive material, the end product is actually pretty cheap. You can get one on Kickstarter right now for about $14, and they expect to ship in April of this year. Last but not least, we have the Evray, which is a duvet cover designed for couples who tend to play tug of war in their sleep. So here's how this thing works. Instead of just being a single blanket and duvet cover system where you have to fight over it in the middle of the night, this thing actually has a row of magnets built down the middle so that if you were to roll apart from each other, the duvet actually just splits in 2 so that you each have your own separate blanket. On top of that, you can also fill these things with different amounts of insulation. So if one of you likes to sleep with a little bit more warmth than the other, you can actually do that pretty easily. If you want to put one of these things on your bed, you can currently get one on Kickstarter for about $99, and they expect to ship in May of this year. That does it for this week, but be sure to tune in again next week, and I will bring you 5 more awesome crowdfunding projects that you probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this video, definitely hit subscribe so you can check out our new stuff next week. Our older stuff should be over here on my right, which I also highly recommend because we do this every week, and lots of the Kickstarter projects that I talk about are still active, and you can still get some of the products that they are hawking.